You didn't fall in love with them, you became addicted to them. And addiction always feels like love until it starts destroying you from the inside. It always begins quietly, softer than you expect, almost beautiful. The way they looked at you at first, the way their attention made you feel seen, the way their presence felt like oxygen after years of emotional starvation, the way your heart finally felt chosen. And in those first moments, you didn't know that what you were feeling wasn't love, it was relief. Relief from loneliness, relief from emptiness, relief from feeling invisible for so long. And when someone gives you a little light after you've been living in the dark, your whole body leans toward them, not carefully, not slowly, but desperately, as if your soul is afraid the light will disappear if you don't hold it tight enough. That is where it starts, not in love, but in hunger. You were not drawn to them because they were perfect. You were drawn to them because they were warm in a place you had been cold your entire life. And when that warmth began to flicker, when the affection stopped coming as easily, when the sweetness turned unpredictable, when the attention came in waves instead of freely, that is when your heart became hooked. Not on who they really were, but on what they used to make you feel. Because inconsistency is not neutral. Inconsistency is chemically addictive. Your brain doesn't calm down around someone who hurts you. It lights up. It waits. It watches. It aches. And every time they pull away, your body goes into withdrawal. And every time they come back, your body floods with relief. Not peace, relief. And the human brain will chase relief again and again, even if it destroys itself in the process. That is how emotional addiction is created. Not through joy, but through uncertainty. Not through love, but through emotional instability. Not through connection, but through fear. You began to feel anxious when they were distant. You began to feel sick when they were silent. You began to measure your worth through how they treated you that day. You began to wait for messages like they were medicine. You began to feel alive only when they were near and empty the moment they weren't. And slowly, without even noticing, your entire inner world rearranged itself around them. Your mood started to depend on their tone. Your self-esteem started to depend on their effort. Your happiness started to depend on their presence. And dependency doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows quietly, disguised as love. But if you look honestly, what you felt wasn't safety. It was suspense. You weren't at peace with them. You were constantly bracing for loss. You weren't grounded. You were hyper alert. Your heart wasn't resting. It was surviving. And survival doesn't create love. It creates attachment. The kind of attachment that hurts worse than heartbreak when it ends. The kind of attachment that makes you miss someone who was never good for you. Because your body doesn't remember what love felt like. It remembers what withdrawal feels like. And withdrawal is the ache you feel now. The tightness in your chest. The heaviness in your throat. The emptiness in your gut. The thoughts that won't leave you alone. The dreams that visit you without permission. Your body is detoxing from a person the same way it detoxes from a drug. And that isn't poetry. That is biology. When someone hurts you and then comforts you, your brain learns that pain and relief come from the same source, and that is the most dangerous pairing in the world. Because now your brain believes the person who harms you is also the person who can save you. And so it keeps running back, even when you are exhausted, even when you are empty, even when you know better. You don't crave them. You crave the relief. You crave the moment they become warm again. You crave the return. You crave the apology. You crave the tenderness between storms. Because that tenderness feels like survival. It feels like the sun after endless rain. It feels earned. And anything that feels earned feels valuable. And that is why the hardest people to leave are not the ones who are always cruel. They are the ones who are sometimes kind. Your heart learned that if you endure the cold long enough, you get a little warmth, and so you endure. And you call it loyalty, and you call it love, but it's not. It's conditioning. You were trained to tolerate pain because it was occasionally rewarded, and your nervous system confused chaos with intensity, and intensity with connection. And now you sit there missing someone who made you cry more than they made you laugh, who made you doubt yourself more than they made you feel safe, who made you smaller instead of stronger, and you don't understand why your heart still wants them. You think something is wrong with you. But listen to me. Nothing is wrong with you. What you experienced was psychological entrapment. You were pulled into a pattern that hijacked your emotional system. You were slowly taught to accept less and smile through it. You were subtly trained to crave the same person who was hurting you. And the reason it worked is because it didn't start as abuse. It started as connection. And that is what traps you. Because once the attachment is formed, your body will tolerate a great deal of pain in order not to lose the bond, even if the bond is killing you. Especially if the bond is killing you, because at least it feels like something. And when you've spent most of your life feeling emotionally empty, even pain feels better than nothing. So you stayed. You hoped. You waited. You adjusted. You blamed yourself. You rewrote your own needs. You silenced your own instincts. You tried to be easier to love. You tried to be smaller. You tried to ask for less. And one day you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize yourself anymore. Because addiction strips you of identity. It centers your world around a substance. And in this case, the substance was a person. You stopped dreaming. You stopped planning. You stopped seeing your future clearly. Everything became about surviving the emotional weather they controlled. A good day depended on their mood. A bad day depended on their absence. And slowly, your life became manageable, but not meaningful. Functioning, but not joyful. Existing, but not alive. And you called it love. But real love does not make you disappear. Real love does not make you nervous. Real love does not require you to stay quiet to keep the peace. Real love does not make you beg for decency. Real love does not confuse you. And anyone who makes you feel addicted is not loving you. They are attaching to your wounds. They are feeding on your fear. They are reinforcing your doubt. And the more you doubt yourself, the more power they have. Because the less you trust your own heart, the more you cling to theirs. And that is why you still think about them. Not because they were special, but because your body is used to the war. Your body learned their pattern. Your body knows when to brace. Your body expects the pain. And without it, you feel strange, empty, lost. Because peace feels unfamiliar. Safety feels boring. Consistency feels hollow, not because it is, but because chaos trained your nervous system. And untraining takes time. It takes grief. It takes loneliness. It takes sitting with feelings you avoided by chasing someone else. And that is where you are now, in the quiet, with the absence, with the ache, with the questions. And you hate it, because without them, you are forced to face your own heart. Not their version of you. Not who you were with them, but who you are alone. And that can be terrifying when you've never had to look at yourself without distraction before. Because now the wounds are louder, and the silence echoes, and everything you avoided is waiting for you here. But listen carefully, this is not punishment. This is recovery. This is your body recalibrating. This is your heart relearning safety. This is your nervous system slowly realizing the threat is over, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Healing is not gentle at first. Healing feels like withdrawal. It feels like aching for something you know is bad for you. It feels like arguing with your own mind every day. It feels like being haunted by a ghost of someone who is still alive, and yet you cannot go back, because going back would cost you yourself. And you've given enough. You have lost enough. You have poured enough. You have carried enough. You have sacrificed enough. You do not owe your future to your past. And missing them does not mean you were wrong to leave. It means you are human. It means your heart bonded deeply. It means your attachment system is powerful. And one day you will see that as a strength again. But not today. Today it just hurts. Today it feels unfair. Today you wonder why they get to be okay while you're falling apart. But they are not okay. They just do not feel. And someone who does not feel does not heal. They repeat, they numb, they move on without processing. And that may look like strength from the outside, but it is emptiness in disguise. And you are not empty. You are hurting, and hurting people heal. Empty people stay empty, and you will not stay here forever. The days will pass. The nights will soften. The ache will loosen. And one morning you will wake up and realize you did not think of them first. Then one day you will not think of them at all. And then one day after that, you will hear their name and feel nothing. And that will not feel sad. It will feel free. Because when you are finally free from emotional addiction, you do not feel numb. You feel light. You breathe easier. Your shoulders drop. Your chest opens. Your laughter returns. Your sleep improves. Your world grows bigger again. And slowly you stop missing someone who made your world smaller. Because now you are no longer craving pain. You are craving peace. And peace does not scream. Peace whispers. Peace does not rush. Peace rests. Peace feels boring at first, but then it feels safe, and then it feels sacred, and you will one day wonder how you ever confused chaos for love. And I know this sounds distant right now. I know it feels impossible. I know it feels like you will always carry them, but trust me, you will not. You will carry the lesson, not the wound. And one day, someone will look at you and you will not feel anxious. You will not feel small. You will not feel afraid. You will not feel like you have to earn your place. You will feel welcome. And that feeling will change everything. Because the heart does not crave what feels safe until it learns it deserves to feel safe. And you are learning now. Through pain, through silence, through absence, through heartbreak you never asked for. But heartbreak is honest. It tells the truth your attachment tried to hide. And the truth is this: you were never addicted to them. You were addicted to the hope that love could come from someone who did not know how to give it. And now you are learning something greater. Love does not hurt. Love does not addict. Love does not confuse. Love does not abandon. Love does not starve you. Love does not punish you. Love does not disappear and return to keep you weak. Love stays. Love listens. Love protects. Love grows. And when you finally experience that, truly experience it, you will understand something that feels impossible now. You did not lose someone you loved. You broke free from someone you survived. And there is a world of difference between those two things. If you and I are anything alike, and you want to keep walking this path with me, then subscribe.